The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
So there is an administrator, and he tells the Rosh Yeshiva, this is not long, it goes back to the 1950s. He tells the Rosh Yeshiva, I was doing the books of the yeshiva, and today was particularly easy. Yeah, I was trying to balance the checkbook. For those of you who don't understand, there used to be a time that you balanced a checkbook. You had like something, it looked like this. Right, me and parrots, we still have, right? It was like a checkbook thing, right, a check register, and you kept your balance inside. And when you wrote out a check, you actually, without a calculator, had to subtract how much was left. And when you deposited a check, you filled it in. We used to do this, parrots. Hey, pays good cash, right? He used to do this. We used to do this. Go explain it. So he said, today was very easy for me. So he asked the administrator, why was it so easy? He says, normally you have to figure out, is there enough money to cover it? How long does it take for the check to clear? Today was simple. There's no money in the account. You know what I mean? It's a very simple cash. We need $50,000 and we have zero. $50,000 minus zero. I know how to do that also. So we owe $50,000, he says. The Rosh Yeshiva is thinking for a moment, he's a Muhammad survivor, and he goes, he says, there's a brand new house across the street. Very fancy house. Somebody moved in. He says, yeah. Rabbi can knock on his door. No. He's a Yid, but you don't want to knock on his door. How do you know he's a Yid? He said, I went to the store today to get kugel for Shabbos for the yeshiva, and they told me I can't have any kugel because we didn't pay the last 6 years. Last 6 years, 6 months. Don't make it worse than it is. Okay. And also, he ordered all the kugel. I know he's Yiddish. He doesn't have a mezuzah on his door. Kugel first, mezuzah second. He has his priorities straight. Rosh Yeshiva says, let me try knocking on his door. He bought a $5 million house. Says, I was looking to buy that house for the yeshiva also. Okay. And I made some cheshbonis, and I realized they wanted $5 million for the house. Yes, and we were $5 million short. That's all. I said, let me knock on his door. Let me knock on his door. Rosh Yeshiva, don't. Rosh Yeshiva, don't. Let me knock on his door. Rosh Yeshiva knocks on his door, knock. What do you want? What are you doing here? Get out! Hello, here's someone. I introduce myself. I'm Rosh Yeshiva. I'm Yeshiva across the street. You ever have an issue with the Bachman? Yes, I do. They make too much noise at night. Get off my property! And he's speaking with a heavy accent, heavy Russian accent. And the Rosh Yeshiva is talking to him. He says, look, maybe you want to come across to the yeshiva a little bit and spend some time, have a seder. You don't get off my property right now. I'm calling the police. He says, what about a little menschlichkeit? You don't want to give me money. You don't want to come across. Okay. So after what I went through by Hitler, there's no menschlichkeit anymore. Okay. Menschlichkeit is gestorben. Get out! There's no menschlichkeit. They leave. And the administrator said, I told you so. Rashid is very taken aback by this, come on, his attitude. And as they're walking away, Rashid stops, turns around, is going back. So no, don't go back. Don't! I'm going back. No! I'm going back. Knock. I'm warning you. I'm sending the police. He says, the police come, it'll take them 15 minutes to come. Take them 10 minutes to send us out. I want to tell you a story. I don't want to hear your stories. By the time I finish the story, the police will be here. I'll be finished before they're here. So he says, you don't want to give money. You don't want to act like a mensch. You don't want to step across the yeshiva before. But don't tell me menschlichkeit. There's no more menschlichkeit after the war. You don't know what I went through by Hitler. He goes, I was also in the concentration camp. I know exactly what you went through. And I want to tell you, a lot of the Bachrim in the yeshiva were in the Hungarian work battalions, the Munkavar, right? Which was like one drop above a concentration camp. They were supposedly Yiddish soldiers, unarmed. Their main job was to be a human mind detector, or to be fodder in between the crossfire. 1% of them survived. And they had food once a day and worked 48 hours, and they would have beaten my Bachrim were in the Hungarian work battalions. And there was a Yid who was also in the Hungarian work battalion. His name was Rabbi Yudel. Rabbi Yudel was an Ish Kaddish. The Bachrim tried to take care of him. He was in his 90s. And one day they saw Rabbi Yudel collapse, and the Bachrim picked him up, carried him to his room. And they were giving out the soup then. And once a day they gave out the soup. They said, Rabbi Yudel, please come down to get the soup. We're not allowed to bring the soup up. If we bring the soup up, they could shoot us for that. Not they could, they do. Please. He says, I can't go down to the soup. I'm just asking you, Bachrim, one thing, that if you can, please bring me to Cave Yisrael. He said, no, Rabbi Yudel, don't talk to us. I said, I'm old enough. It's okay. And they're begging him to come down. And the Baruch said, maybe we should take the soup and try to sneak up. He said, Chas v'shalom, I won't drink it if you come. You cannot put your lives in danger. And all of a sudden, this Yid comes up, and he's holding not one, he's holding 2 bowls of soup. So he said to him, please, Rabbi Yudel is dying. Can you give us one of the bowls? No. He's dying. Give us one. No! Where's your humanity? There's no humanity anymore. He walked away. Rabbi Yudel passed away. Said Shema Yisrael, he passed away. So now, how do we get him to Cave Yisrael? So Shaz, do we carry him through the woods, bury him in the cemetery, but they may not make it back for the next roll call. And then they're deemed deserters and forget it. And they said even if they do make it back, they don't make it back for rations. They only get the soup once a day. That means for 48 hours they're going to have to work hard labor. They won't survive. They won't be able to survive. They decide, we're going for a Yudel. They carried his body through the woods and they buried him and they raced back. And meanwhile, they already took roll call. They said 2 soldiers are missing. And the general was already trigger happy. He had his finger on the trigger. We're going to catch those deserters and shoot them and hang them in front of anyone. They showed up. It was in the middle of giving out the rations. So they said, let's just run for it. We'll run for it, they're going to catch us. You can't just come late. It's not like camp. You come late. You get docked from an activity. You know what I mean? You get your head chopped off. Let's try. So the guy recounts. He says, no, I made a mistake. They're here. You didn't make no mistake. 2 people showed up late and they missed their rations. That means they tried to run away. Who was it? So it was us. So the general calls them over and he tells one of the soldiers to tie them to a tree, these Bachrim, and he gives them a horse whip and he says 20 lashes. And the Bachrim say to themselves, in case one of us dies, at least do the same thing for us, bring us to Cave Yisrael. And they're about to do it, and all of a sudden some other general shows up and says, the train is coming through tomorrow and the tracks aren't clear. Everyone to work. What are these guys doing tied to the tree? Lashes, smashes, give them lashes later. Out! He untied them and they all ran to the tree. It wasn't easy. They had to work 48 hours without rations. Somehow they forgot about the lashes. Passed by. So Rosh Hashiva said, don't tell me menschlichkeit stopped during the war, because here's during the Gehenim Shebe Gehenim. They're at the abyss. They're at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. Total dark. No sunlight breaks through. And don't tell me there was no menschlichkeit, because my Bachrim and my Nefesh themselves, in a way that you can't even imagine. And the guy is like frozen. And as he turns around to walk out, he says, Rosh Hashiva, tell me what the yeshiva's budget is. I'll cover it every single year. What happened to you? He says, I was the person with the 2 soups. I was the one that was holding the 2 soups. I was the one that had it. He said, I guess there's no hope for me because they caused Rav Yudel to die. So he said, no, Rav Yudel's time anyway. But if the Eibishter made this Hashgacha Pratis, is a simon that you're here. And a simon you're supposed to be here for a reason.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org